Informatica is a tool which is basically used in two kinds of projects. First is the data warehousing projects, and second can be the data migration project. So because Informatica is a tool that is being used in data warehousing projects nowadays, therefore we need to have a very clear understanding of what is a data warehouse and all other data warehousing concepts, right? So let's start off with what is a data warehouse. So when we speak of a data warehouse, it is a subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant and non-volatile collection of data in support of management's decision-making process. Now let's first of all understand each and every word about this definition. When we speak of subject-oriented, right, it means a data warehouse would particularly deal with one particular subject area. For example, in an organization, there would be an HR department, there would be an sales department, there would be a technology department, right? So for example, if we are building a data warehouse, we would be building a separate data warehouse for a particular sales department. There would be a separate data warehouse for a particular HR department, right? So data warehouse is basically subject oriented. Next is the integrated. What do we mean by integrated is, take a small example. For example, if we have, suppose, there are three companies, right? And we are merging, there are three source systems in a company. For example, one source system is a Teradata source system. In a company, there is data which is being, half of the data is present in the Teradata source system, half of the data is present in Oracle database, and 1/3 part of it is maintained in a SAP database system, right? Now, in a data warehouse, which is a target data system, there won't be three kinds of source systems. There won't be three kinds of databases. In a data warehouse, it will be completely integrated. That means only one database would be there. So for example, from source 1 it is coming as customer application date, and the column name is mentioned as customer application underscore date. The data type is numeric, right? For example, it's given a sample value. The second source system has the customer application date as mentioned as cust underscore application underscore date. See the difference in the names of the column due to difference in the source systems. Okay. The third source system is application date, right? The data type of which is date, right? And the column name is application underscore date. Now when we would be merging these three source systems into our data warehouse, we will be creating only one standard database and one standard data types, right? So all of the three records would in the target system would be represented by only one column name. And then the data type will also be same, and so the value is also having the same type. This is how data warehouse works, right? In a data warehouse, there won't be any heterogeneous thing, right? Everything would be standard. All the records would have the same data type, would have the same column names. This is just one simple example. Is it understood till over here? Are you clear till here?
Yeah, fine.
Or do you have any doubt? Okay, great. Now, let's come back to our previous slide. That is time variant. What do we mean by time variant is, let's understand this with the help of a transactional data system. What happens in transactional data? We only have the data present for the we only have the most recent data available for us. We cannot have the history of the data. For example, let's take an example. There is a customer, James, right? And his email address was james1@gmail.com. Now suppose there is a change in the email address, and the email address got changed to james2@gmail.com. So transactional systems would be maintaining the latest information. They will not be having, they will replace james1@gmail.com by james2@gmail.com. You won't be having the history data. But in case of data warehouse, we always maintain the history of the data. So when we have to add, when we have to change the data, the email address of a customer called James, it will not overwrite the james1@gmail.com. It will add another row, right? And it will mark the previous row as history record, something like that. Okay. This is how it is a time variant thing, where we always have the history of the data. You can always have the previous data which is no longer valid right now, but still it is available. Okay. Then it comes to the non-volatile collection of data. What do we mean by non-volatile? Yes, once we have the data into the data warehouse, it's the warehousing system, the data would not get lost. We will save it for a long period. Yes, there can be a limitation that we are saving only 5 years data or we are saving only 10 years data, but the data would be there. So it's a non-volatile data. Okay. Now the last and the foremost important part of this definition, management's decision making process is very important. Why are we using a data warehouse? Why do we need history of the data, right? So why do we need is, suppose that you are running a company, right? And financial year 13 is being completed. Now financial year 14 is about to come. We have to make some decisions that what should be our policies. What changes should we make to our policies, right? So for making changes to the policies, for making some management decisions, you will need to look at the history of your organization. What was the performance in the previous year, right? How was the sales department performing in the previous year? So therefore we need the data warehouse. Therefore we need the history to make our management decisions of the current scenario based on the previous scenarios. Okay. So this is how data warehouse works, and this is what a data warehouse is. Now let's move on to the architecture of data warehouse. When we speak of architecture of the data warehouse, it is a very simple architecture. We learn it step by step. So as I already spoke to you with the source systems, this is a source system. At the very first layer would be source system. So this is nothing but the databases. Sources, for example, here we have a CRM database. It's not basically a database, it's a department. Not department, it's a financial, or it's a kind of functional focus, right? We have an ERP system, we have legacy systems, right? In all these information, these systems would be present in the form of a database. That can be a PeopleSoft database, it can be an SAP database, it can be an Oracle applications, right? It can be a Siebel. Now, also we can have the sources in the form of external data. What do we mean by external data is, can be spreadsheets. For example, we are using a spreadsheet to get the PIN code numbers of a particular, of all the states of US. Okay, so these kinds of information which are standard, right, and which we are using apart from the standard database are called external data. Now, now these are the source system which will be providing us the data, providing us the transactional data, providing us all the data that we need for preparing our data warehouse. Now, how do we create a data warehouse? Is with the help of an ETL tool. So this is the second layer, which is ETL layer. Here comes the Informatica technology that we would be training you on, right? So we have different ETL tools in market. For example, Informatica is there, Oracle Data Warehouse Builder is there, SQL scripts are there, BODS is there, right? So this is the ETL layer. ETL layer would have three processes: extract, transform, and load. What do we mean by extract, transform, and load? Extract means exactly extracting the data from the source system. Very simple. We just have to get the data from the source system, which is the very first process in ETL. Next is the transform. What do we mean by transform? For example, in source system, the country is being saved as, country California is being saved as CA. But in the data warehouse, we have to save it as California. So we will be transforming this CA to California. Similarly, there can be other transformations, right? For example, if a name of the person, James Bond, is being written as James.B in the source system, but in target system we want it to be written as James Bond, the complete name. Then there is a transformation of data again, right? So these kinds of transformations we do with the help of an ETL tool like Informatica. This is the transformation layer. Now once the transformation is completed, it means we have the final data, final processed data, which is ready to be loaded to the target system. We load that data. Loading means basically dumping the data to the data warehouse. This is what the load part means. Okay. Now, this is the ETL layer. We apply lots of business rules. We merge records, we clean data, we filter out the unrequired data. For example, if we have to create the data warehouse only on the last 10-year data, then we would be filtering out the records which are older than 10 years, right? Or for example, if we only want the sales, if we want the data warehouse to be built on the sales data only, we will be extracting only sales data and we will be filtering out the records which are not belonging to the sales department. Okay? So this is all about ETL layer. Next is the data and the metadata repository layer. This is the actual data warehouse that we built, right? Now there is a concept of data mart. We can leave this particular part for now. Okay? So data warehouse is basically that we have built. This is the data warehouse layer. Again, data warehouse is nothing but a database only. So we use Oracle, we can use SQL Server, we can use Teradata, we can use DB2 systems. Any Oracle, any database system we can use for creating a data warehouse. Now the last layer is the presentation layer. This is the layer which is being used by actual business users, managers, assistant managers. They work on these particular layers. Presentation layer basically are the reporting tools. They can always make their reports. They can extract data, they can make different creative reports on these layers. Okay. So this is a layer which is not our part, which will not be covering in our training. We'll be covering first, second and third layers in our training. Okay. So this was all about the data warehouse. Next we need to speak in the dimensional model. What do we mean by dimensional model? Okay, any doubt in the architecture? Yeah, hello? Any doubt in the architecture?
Fine, go on.
Okay, great. Next is the dimensional model. What do we mean by dimensional model? Is if you have a clear understanding of normalization concept in databases, earlier we used to have the normalized models, right? ER models we used to have, entity relationship diagrams we used to create. In a data warehouse concepts we use dimensional model. What does it mean is it will have the data divided into dimensions and facts. I'll be explaining these two things which are very important to the data warehouse concepts in coming slides, okay? Currently just learn this, that yes, in dimensional model we have dimensions and we have facts. Now that means it describes dimensions and it describes measures. Dimensions is a term dealing with dimensions, dimension tables. Measures is a term that deals with fact tables. Again, I'll be explaining these terms in coming slides. Dimensional model encourages data redundancy. That means if you have, for example, if you have a particular customer, right, and the customer old address was this. For example, he was living in California and then he changed his country from California to Texas, right? So two different records would be present, one for the earlier historical data and one for the new latest data. So there would be data redundancy, okay, in dimensional model. We are not encouraging data redundancy in earlier models. In ER model, if you remember, right, we make them maximum normalized. But in dimensional model, we always encourage data redundancy. Why? Because data redundancy, with the help of data redundancy, we have high query performance. What do you mean by query performance? Okay, for example, in case of query performance, because it's a data redundancy, we're having a separate record for every we will have for every history, right? So we can always directly query the fact table or a dimension table. We do not have to follow a normalized system. Okay. Okay. Let's do one thing. This fourth point we can cover up later on. Okay. I'll come back to this point once we are done with the dimensions and facts. Now next is the dimension. Now next is the dimensions, right? Dimension is nothing but a table. Okay. What do you mean by dimension? It's a dimension table which will contain all the constant data. For example, let's have we have a dimension table on date. Okay. Now in this particular date dimension, you will have a date ID. For example, we can have anything, right? For example, if we are maintaining a separate primary key for every date. For today, I'm maintaining a separate primary key. For tomorrow, I'm maintaining a separate primary key. And every dimension will have one single primary key. Okay. And it will have, for example, we have a date primary key, date 1, right? And for today, it will have another columns like day for day, month, year, week, and then it will maintain another data, for example, weekday. For example, it was a Monday today. This kind of tables are dimensions, where attributes are textual in nature, and they are also, or they can be organized into hierarchies. For example, if we are maintaining in a, let's do with the help of an example. Okay. Okay. So here it's like more or less constant data. Okay, the data that will not change. That will change very, very slowly if it will change. Okay, for example, pin code numbers for a state California, it will never change, right? There are very less chances that it will change. Similarly, employee ID of an employee, that will not change. Very less chances that an employee ID can change in a company, right? So these kinds of data we maintain in dimensions. We can have a time dimension. We can have a customer dimension. So for example, a customer dimension will maintain a customer name, customer ID, and will maintain a customer birth date. It will maintain customer birth date, along with that a customer telephone number, customer address. So these kind, and then it will have one primary key, for example, customer ID, right? That is our customer dimension. Now, it's very less often that the telephone number of a customer is changing, or address of a customer is changing, right? So these are a kind of static data that we maintain in dimensions. Next we have facts tables. Now facts is, as I told you in the earlier slide, measures. Okay. What do we mean by measures? For example, this will be measurable quantities. Facts will store all the measurable data. For example, how much sale is being done by this customer today? For example, okay, how many products this particular customer has purchased in an organization today, from a mall today, for a shopping mall today, right? So these kinds of measures are being called as facts, and we save it in a fact table. Okay, don't worry, I'll come to the real-time data also. You'll have a very good picture of with the help of a sample data. Okay. Now, it is a constantly varying data. Okay, the data can vary. For example, today the customer has done a $100 purchase. Tomorrow the customer is doing a $200 purchase. That amount is changing, and every day we are maintaining a new amount in our fact table. I mean, a new record for a different data. Then it has multi-part primary key. For example, if we have a particular record with saying customer ID this has purchased product this, product ID is P123, customer C123, right? So this C123 is a customer, right? Now the detail of this customer, like telephone number, like birth date, these will not be maintained in this fact table. If we have to extract, if we want to know the telephone number of a customer with customer ID C123, then we will be going to that corresponding dimension table that is maintaining all these data, all these static data. Okay. So I think now you are getting a little bit more practical approach, practical example of what is a dimension, what is a fact, how this stores data. Okay. then it again, as I said, it links directly to the dimensions with the help of these primary keys. Then we have product P123, right? That was purchased by this customer. So that P123 product, again, we will not be having the data like color of these product, color, name of this product in the fact table. We will having these static data maintained in the dimension table. Okay. Okay. Now there are two types of dimensional models that we use in generally in all the IT companies. We use either star schema or a snowflake schema. So when it comes to star schema, again, in a star schema there are two main components, fact table and dimension table. A fact table is surrounded by dimensional tables in a simple, why do we call it as star schema? Because the model of this schema resembles a star. Okay, I'll tell you again. We'll come to the sample data and the sample diagram in the next slide. Each dimension table will have one-to-many relationships. Let's do one thing. Let's keep this slide for now. Let's move on to the real-time model. So, for example, we are creating a star schema of sales department. Okay. Now, in this sales department, in center you will see the sales fact. This is a fact table. Okay. What all this fact table is maintaining is how much sales, that means sales dollar column will be maintaining the amount of sales. How much sales was done at what date and time, okay, and for what product it was, for what organization it was belonging to, what was the location where the sales was done, okay, and what was the time when the sales was done. So if you see, there are 4 primary keys over here in this fact table: time, dimension, identifier. For example, the sales was done and the time T123. Okay. So if we want to know what is this T123 exactly, what is the hour, what is the minute, what is the second, that information would be maintained in this time dimension. Okay, this is a dimension table that I was speaking about. So there is only one primary key and it is maintaining year number, day of the year, quarter number, month names, month day number, week number, day of the week, calendar date, date, time, stamp. Okay. So all these static information is maintained in this time dimension. So if you see, all these dimensions are connected to this fact table with the primary keys. The primary key of dimension table is foreign key to the fact table. Okay. So let's see a real time data. For example, this is the sales table, sales fact table. We are saying that for product code 112 and period code 002, okay, period means time. This was the store S1. So this store, S1 store actually, unit sold is 30. So unit store S1 sell sold 30 units of product 110. That was amount 1500. Okay, and the product, these 30 amount was purchased at a cost of 1200. Okay, this is the first data. Now we don't know what is product code 110. What product it means? So we will be going to the dimension table. Here 110 says that it is a shoes which is brown in color and the size of which is 10.5. Clear? Second is the period code. We don't know what does it mean, period code 002. Come on, we need the data. What does period code mean? So we will be going to the period dimension. 002 means it says the first quarter of the year, 1999 and 5th month. Okay? So this is how it works. Then we have the store code. We don't know what does store code S1 means. We want the data of the S1 store code. So we will be going to store dimension, saying S1 is Jane's store, which is in city San Antonio, the telephone number of which is this, and the manager is Burgess. Okay? So I think you have a very clear idea of star schema now on the basis of the sample data. Any doubts over here?
Yeah, carry on.
Okay. Next is the snowflake schema. So snowflake schema is basically an extension of the star schema only. Just the difference is the dimension table. For example, here the dimension table would be more normalized. for example, into multiple lookup tables. So let's see it with the help of an example. We have the sales fact table, right? I was discussing about it, right? Now, for example, the date ID is maintained in this date table. Now, this date table, date dimension only has the date ID, that is the primary key, and it only gives you month. Now, this month ID will again be linked to another dimension table mentioning about month and the year. Okay. Similarly, suppose store is there, right? The store is having the store ID. Now, this store table will be maintaining only city. The details of the city, further details will be maintaining in another dimension table which is linked to this store table with the help of a store ID, and this will have city and state. Again, the state ID is linked to the another dimension table. So this is all about snowflake schema. In case of snowflake schema, we have multiple, we have hierarchies. This is what we call it hierarchies. Okay. So this is all about the snowflake schema. And this was all about the data warehousing concepts. We still have some more concepts, but I think for the very first session it will be better if you just revise these concepts. Okay, just take a better understanding of these concepts, read this PPT, and then have a better idea. Okay, Sri. Yeah, Sri. Hello.
Naga, tell me.